Would you believe it if someone told you there's a plant that can reveal where diamonds are hidden underground? Sounds like a conspiracy theory or something out of an adventure movie, right? But real life has a funny way of surprising us, sometimes, in ways that make us rethink everything we thought we knew. Most people go through life ignoring the obvious signs that nature gives us. But a few, just a few, have learned how to crack the silent code written in the soil, the plants, and even the rocks. This particular plant only grows in soil that contains a specific type of rock, the same rock that cradles diamonds deep below the surface. And yes, this plant has a name, a look, and it might be giving you priceless clues without you even realizing it. The irony? Most people have never even heard of it. While some folks spend a fortune on machines and high-tech gear, others, armed with simple knowledge, are finding treasure with their feet in the dirt and their eyes wide open. In this video, I'm going to reveal everything. What this plant is, why it's so special, where to find it, and how to use it to your advantage. And if you think this sounds too good to be true, you'd better stick around till the end. Because once you learn to read the signs nature gives, you'll never walk blindly again. Not everything that glitters is gold, and not everything that looks simple is insignificant. There's a quiet link between nature and the deep secrets hidden beneath the earth, a connection so subtle that almost no one notices it. In certain corners of the world where the landscape feels untouched and wild, there are signs pointing to something far more valuable than trees or rocks. We're talking about diamonds, and believe it or not, one specific plant might be the clue that you're standing on promising ground. This mystery, still unknown even to many seasoned prospectors, connects the botanical world to the realm of mineral exploration in a way that feels almost magical. The connection is so discreet that most people miss it entirely. But those who develop a sensitivity to nature learn to read the environment like they're deciphering an ancient code. This isn't just about looking for precious stones. It's about knowing where to look. And when the right plant shows up, in the right place, it carries with it the quiet promise of a rare discovery. In the next few minutes, you'll see how the bond between green leaves and sparkling gems runs deeper than most people could ever imagine. Its name is Pandanus candelabrum, a rare but powerful plant that grows in places where the soil hides more than just nutrients. It hides diamonds. It's not flashy or eye-catching and can easily go unnoticed by an untrained eye. But for those who know the land and understand the earth's subtle signs, this plant is almost sacred. Pandanus candelabrum grows exclusively on a type of rock known as kimberlite, deep volcanic formations that act like natural chimneys, bringing diamonds from the earth's mantle up to the surface. In other words, if you come across Pandanus candelabrum in the wild, you might be standing very close to a life-changing discovery. Serious studies, like the one conducted by geologists in Liberia, have confirmed a direct link between this plant and the presence of kimberlite. Science has already proven what many still dismiss as myth or folklore. And the best part? This knowledge is public, yet it's barely tapped into by most people starting out in the search for precious stones. When we talk about kimberlite, we're talking about a rock that doesn't form overnight. It comes from deep within the earth, pushed upward during ancient volcanic eruptions, carrying fragments of minerals, and sometimes perfectly formed diamonds. But spotting kimberlite with the naked eye is no easy task. That's where Pandanus candelabrum plays a vital role. It acts as a natural marker, indicating the kind of soil where these formations might be found. And it's not the only one. There are other plants that have symbiotic relationships with specific soil types, but this one has been dubbed a true biological detector by researchers. In the field of geobotany, yes, that's a real science. This kind of relationship is pure gold. Literally. Knowing this puts you ahead of 99% of curious hobbyists, and even many longtime prospectors who still have no idea what they're standing on. Now imagine yourself out in the field, walking through a remote area where the green stretches endlessly in every direction. What sets you apart from a casual tourist or random wanderer? Knowledge. Being able to recognize Pandanus candelabrum, understanding its role and connection to kimberlite, that elevates you to a whole new level of awareness. You stop being someone who's looking for diamonds and become someone who reads the land, someone who deciphers the Earth's code. And like any good code, it only reveals itself to those who've learned the language. This plant is more than a botanical clue. It's a silent beacon for modern-day treasure hunters. And once you understand that, the landscape will never look the same again. In the next step, I'll show you exactly how to put this knowledge into action. Because theory without action is just mental decoration. Knowing that Pandanus candelabrum points to kimberlite is a big deal, but it won't mean much if you can't recognize the plant in the wild. So let's break it down. This plant looks like a slender palm with long, pointed leaves arranged, like the arms of a candelabrum. That's actually where it gets its name. Its aerial roots stretch down like thin rods, creating a kind of web on the ground. When you're out in the field, you'll want to keep an eye on rocky, damp, hard-to-reach areas, especially in tropical or subtropical regions. It has very specific preferences, so when it shows up, it's usually saying, "There's something special here." If you've got a good camera, a notebook, and the patience to walk slowly and observe, you're already ahead of most people. And the best part? You can start training your eye without even leaving home by studying real images, visiting botanical gardens, and learning to recognize the plant's patterns and structure. In Africa, particularly in Liberia, Pandanus candelabrum has become a trusted marker in diamond prospecting due to its direct link to diamond-rich soil. But does it grow only there? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. Yes, it's native to West Africa. But the logic behind it, the idea of indicator plants, can be applied elsewhere, including in South America and even parts of the United States. In areas where kimberlite reaches the surface, other plants adapted to that same soil can also serve as clues. So if you're in the US, for example, it's worth researching local plant species that thrive in similar conditions. States like Arkansas, Colorado, and Montana have known kimberlite occurrences. While Pandanus doesn't grow there, the soil still tells its story. You just have to listen. The key is understanding the entire environment, the type of rock, the vegetation growing above it, the feel of the earth under your feet. If you're ready to put all this into action, here's a basic field plan. Start by studying geological maps of your region. Look for areas with documented kimberlite or signs of ancient volcanic activity. Then head into the field with sharp eyes. Watch for changes in the landscape, higher terrain, pale or chalky soil, or patches with unusual rock fragments. Bring a bot, magnifying glass, a simple GPS, and most importantly, a field journal. Take photos, catalog the plants you find, write down your impressions. Over time, you'll build your own database, and your senses will become sharper. Oh, and never underestimate the power of intuition. Sometimes, it's what leads us right where we need to be. But now that you know how to identify a valuable plant, let me ask you this. Can you see what no one else can? Now be honest with me. How many times have you walked past a place and felt there was something special about it, but ignored it because it just looked too normal? The truth is, life hides its greatest treasures in the most subtle details, and the same goes for nature. Once you train your eyes, you start noticing that the extraordinary is often tucked inside what seems completely ordinary. This plant we're talking about today, and all the others that act as natural indicators, they're like secret codes just waiting to be read. And you know what? Very few people take the time. Very few allow themselves to see beyond the surface. So, if this content is opening your eyes to a new way of seeing the world, drop a comment below. I see the signs. I want to know who's really waking up to these possibilities. And share this with someone who needs it. It could be the very first step in someone's journey, just waiting for the right nudge. There's a huge difference between looking and seeing. Everyone looks. But seeing, that's for the few. It's like that old saying, the eye sees only what the mind is prepared to understand. You might walk past the same landscape 100 times and never notice the plant, the rock, the terrain, until one day something clicks. And when it does, you'll never see things the same way again. That's exactly what we're doing here. Rewiring your mind to recognize what used to be invisible. And trust me, this skill goes way beyond diamond hunting. It changes the way you see everything. Business, relationships, opportunities. Because when you learn to read nature's signals, you also learn to read life's signals. Now tell me, are you starting to see beyond the obvious? If so, share this with someone and let's spread this new vision. Have you ever thought that maybe the only difference between those who find and those who keep searching is simply the willingness to pay attention? It's not the strongest, not even the most experienced who finds the greatest treasures. It's the one who observes carefully, walks slowly, and has patience. If you've made it this far, that already tells me something. You're different from most people. Most are jumping from video to video chasing quick entertainment. But you're here for knowledge. And that tells me a lot about you. So if this content is lighting a spark inside you, if it's making sense for your journey, share this video with one more person. Maybe they're waiting for a sign too, and this might be exactly it. And stay with me, because in the next part we're going to expand your vision even more. There are other plants, other clues, and natural signs that also reveal hidden treasures. If Pandanus candelabrum is a precious clue, know this. It's not alone in this quiet game between green leaves and hidden sparkle beneath the earth. There are other plants and natural signs that also act as markers for the presence of minerals and gemstones. Take, for instance, indicator grass, a species known for thriving in soil with specific concentrations of metals. In Brazil, sharp-eyed prospectors pay close attention to unusual growth patterns of native plants in areas rich in cassiterite and topaz. Vegetation gives away the soil, because every plant has its preferences. Some only grow where there's iron, others favor acidic soil, and some are tightly linked to specific geological formations. This information might seem trivial, but for those who know what to do with it, it's pure gold. Want a golden tip? Start building your own field catalog. Take photos, note GPS coordinates, describe the terrain. You'll be surprised by the patterns that start to emerge. But it's not just the plants. The land itself speaks. Pay attention to the terrain. Elevated areas with flat tops often show signs of erosion that expose deeper soil layers, and that could be a clue. If you come across fragments of dark, heavy rock with a rough texture and small visible crystals, you might be looking at a camouflaged piece of kimberlite, natural cracks in the ground, water trickling between stones, or even the sound the soil makes under your feet. It can all mean something. And here's something interesting. In some regions, you might notice a subtle change in soil color, from light brown to a reddish or bluish tone. That usually signals a shift in mineral composition. If you're in an area like that and spot vegetation that stands out from the rest, investigate. It won't always lead to diamonds, but those who learn to read these details dramatically increase their chances of success. And this is where things get really interesting. When you combine this knowledge with traditional mining techniques, you create a natural strategic radar. Instead of digging randomly, you start acting with precision. Seasoned. Miners often say you don't dig with a shovel, you dig with your eyes. And they're absolutely right. Techniques like batholith analysis, reading geological maps, and using magnetic prospecting tools might sound like specialist stuff, but they're accessible to anyone willing to study. And you know what makes all the difference? Blending modern knowledge with ancestral wisdom. Mix GPS with intuition. Pair geological maps with close observation of plants and animals. That is the key to unlocking doors most people don't even know are there. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into this symbolic way of interpreting nature's signs, because sometimes what you've been searching for has been calling out to you all along. Looking at nature with focused eyes is like having a conversation with a wise elder. He doesn't shout, but he says exactly what you need to hear, if you know how to listen. Most people go through life thinking the answers are buried in complex formulas, but more often than not, they're right there, in the leaves dancing with the wind, in the roots embracing the soil, in the cycles that repeat without fail. Pandanus candelabrum is just one example, a living reminder that the planet is constantly sending us signs, but only those who've learned to quiet their inner noise are able to notice them, and this extends to everything in life: relationships, decisions, opportunities. Nature, with its calm precision, teaches us that not every treasure shines at first glance. Some reveal themselves slowly, only when we've become ready to find them. And believe me, perception is a muscle. The more you train it, the farther it takes you, beyond where most people ever reach. This path of observation and discovery isn't just made with tools or maps. It requires intuition. The same intuition that guides birds in migration, that tells trees when it's time to bloom, that moves water exactly where it needs to go. When you walk through the wild, observe the ground, listen to the sounds around you, and feel the energy of a place, you tap into ancient wisdom. And in that state, you begin to find more than just gemstones. You find answers. Because the soil that holds diamonds is the same soil that holds memories, stories, and energy. And as you tune into it, you begin to realize everything is connected. The diamond, in this sense, becomes more than just a stone. It becomes a symbol of something greater, something you can only truly understand when you merge knowledge with sensitivity. Now think about this. How many times have you been searching for something, only to realize much later that the sign was there all along? The plant, the rock, the glimmer. It all starts with a small detail, but that detail can change your entire path. Learning to read nature's signs isn't just a prospecting technique, it's a philosophy of life. It's an invitation to slow down, to look with intention, to trust your senses. And when you bring it all together, knowledge, practice, and intuition, something magical happens. Answers begin to appear. Opportunities start to unfold, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. But hang tight, because in the next and final step, I still have something important to share with you. Something that might shape the way you move forward from here. But before that, I want to tell you about an ebook I created just for you. A complete guide that takes you from beginner to advanced in the world of gemstones. The link is in the description. Now that you know there's a plant that grows exactly where diamonds lie hidden beneath the ground, let me ask you, honestly, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Are you going to let it fade into memory, or will you put it into action? This week, how many opportunities have already slipped by because your eyes weren't trained to see them? And what if the next one crosses your path tomorrow? The truth is, those who learn to listen to nature also learn to listen to life, and that changes everything. That's why I invite you to take the next step. Get out there, observe, take photos, compare, test what you've learned. Put this knowledge to the test, because there's no greater learning than the kind that comes through experience. And before you leave this video, drop a comment below. What was the most powerful insight you had today? Tell me, had you ever heard of Pandanus candelabrum before, or did this discovery catch you by surprise? While you're here, don't forget to hit the like button, share this with someone who needs to see beyond the obvious, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications because there's so much more coming your way. Other plants, other signs, other hidden treasures just waiting for eyes that are ready to see. Because here, every video is a path toward the extraordinary. So, what about you? Are you going to keep walking in the dark, or are you finally ready to start seeing the signs?